Hello everyone, welcome to Andy Shed Live for this Sunday the 18th of October 2020. Hello there and welcome to the show. We are allegedly live, finally, after YouTube have been doing tons and tons and tons of messing about today. YouTube has been absolutely rubbish. They now make you log into a stupid thing called YouTube Studio, and when you're on really crap internet like I am here, and it's like 2-3 meg upload, really rubbish internet, I can't open another web page and also stream. I have to do one thing or the other. I have to disconnect everything else from the modem here, from the router. I have to disconnect everything else in the house to do this stream. But YouTube insists on making you log in and passwords and log in and sign in. And that's why from next week we are not going to be on YouTube anymore. Go to the website next week to find out what is going to be happening. Andy's Shed Live, right, next week, yeah. So go to the website andyshed.callpress.net next week to find out where we're going to be, because we will not be on YouTube most likely next week. Most likely we'll have swapped streaming providers next week. So you'll not find us on YouTube. Go andyshed.callpress.net next week. Do not look for us on YouTube, and if you normally get an alert through YouTube to say that I'm on, then just remember it's 6 o'clock, because you'll probably not get the alert either. If we've swapped over, I'm hoping we're going to swap over by next week and not use YouTube anymore. So hopefully the live show is going to swap over next week, because YouTube is just so much hassle. I've been here 45 minutes trying to set this stream up, and previously I could just click it and go. YouTube does absolutely nothing for its creators. It demonetized me years ago because it said I'd not got enough subscribers. I used to make money out of YouTube, but because I'm not a big boy, not over 1,000 subscribers now, they don't give me any money. So that's what I think of YouTube. Yeah. Right, evening everybody, evening Christopher, evening Jimmy, evening Dominic. Yes, YouTube is shit. Yes, and I don't care. Who knows it? So we're going to be on a different platform, all being well, next week, and we're going to get away from this YouTube nonsense. So, having said that, I probably will still be here next week, because I probably won't have time to set it up this week, but we are definitely going to go to a different streaming platform. Probably go to Twitch or something like that instead of YouTube. So if anybody knows of one, if anybody can suggest one, a different platform, then let me know. Dominic says, yeah, sorry to hear about the YouTube. It seems to be getting very pushy with its creators. Yeah, Google needs a good kick up the arse, basically. That's what it needs. I'll tell you something. My homepage will not be Google anymore. You know when you turn your browser on, when you turn your browser on your computer, chances are you've got your homepage set to Google. Set it to something else. Set it to DuckDuckGo or something like that. Anything. But people need to stop using Google and Google's associated companies, things like YouTube and that. People need to give them the kicking now that they deserve. So get rid of YouTube, get rid of Google. If you've got a phone, get Android off your phone, because Android is Google. Get it off. You can get vanilla versions of Android. It's open source. You can get versions of Android that don't have any Google involved in it. So get vanilla Android on your phone if you've got an Android phone. Get rid of Google. I am on a rant now. I mean, wasted 45 minutes of my life because they've been arseholes. So, yeah. Let's give them the kicking they deserve. Watch this on Library. Go and download the Library app. And you can watch after the event on Library. It's lbry.com, and download the app. Sign in, get yourself a Library account, see how it works. It's very clever how it works. You can even, just for watching videos on Library, make yourself a bit of money in cryptocurrency. I've talked about it before, but yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, stop now, go and find lbry.com, download the app, come back. But don't stop if you're live, because obviously we can't do it live. Right, shall we crack on with today? It seems to be working at the moment. Who knows how long this is going to work for, though, because it's really sort of overly taxing the computer systems here at the minute. So yeah, YouTube just changed the streaming key on me, completely changed the streaming key on me, and then make me put my streaming key back into their... Who is it? Who runs Google? Who have I got to go to America and stab? Right. With something blunt so it hurts more. Yeah. Jimmy says, my mate who knows about stuff says Twitch is good. Yeah, I'm probably going to try Twitch, Jimmy. I've never used Twitch because I'm not a gamer. Twitch is very much streams that gamers use, isn't it? But I'm not a gamer, so I'll never try Twitch, but I'm blooming well going to in this next week. So, like I say, if we're not here next week, go to the website, andyshed.corepress.net, and there'll be a message or something on there to tell you where we are. So go there next week if you're wondering where we are next week. Right, shall we crack on with it? Because we've got a ton to do. I haven't said all this now. It's blooming working now. So, right, we'll crack on, shall we? There's been all sorts happening this week. Christopher 2000 said, did I get his email of the 746 that he restored? I did, and we will we'll have a look at it, shall we, in just a sec, when I can just well, I can figure out how to make this work. Oh dear, it's been one hell of a week. Right. Right, I've just got to find it, Christopher. Right, where did I put stuff? There it is. Why does it come out on its side and I can't turn it round? But it is there. Right. This is one of the things about doing this on this software that I use, in that I can't turn things round when they come out the wrong way around, and these pictures come out the wrong way around. But I'll show everybody anyway. There you go. That's the phone that Chris has been restoring this week, and he's been using my method come on, my mind's completely gone now. He's been using my method of acetone, and also I think he's used methylated spirits in with the acetone, just to make it sort of sit on the surface a bit longer. I found out since I did that video that you learnt that from, Chris, that you don't actually have to use methylated spirits. You can just cut it with a bit of water, the acetone, and that will work as well. Dominic says, oh, Bakelite Fosses 200 series sturdy enough to survive the post, or should I try and arrange to collect? There's a decent 232 on eBay, but I'm concerned it will arrive in bits. Yeah. Basically, I won't put any phone in the post or on a courier. I buy them that way. I do buy them that way because I figure if they get here broke, I can always send them back and say, look, you didn't package them right. But I will never send one through the post, because there's not a courier I trust, and I certainly don't trust Royal Mail in the UK. if I were you, Dominic, I would try and go and collect it. And what you will find is stuff that's marked collection only as well on eBay. You tend to get it cheaper because people can't be bothered to bid, because people can't be bothered to go and collect it. A good example, I got two 232s, I think they were. You know, the pyramid phones. I got two of those with bell sets and a little wooden switchboard thing that I've had on an episode of this before. They were collection only from Hunstanton, which is about 3 or 4 hours drive from me, but I only paid 40 quid for the lot. Yeah, basically look for the stuff that is collection only if you possibly can, or will let you collect, even if they offer postage, because I wouldn't trust the postage for them to arrive in one piece. I would say 50% of the stuff I get, of the telephones that I get, arrive damaged. I would say 50% of them arrive damaged in some way. Whatever courier or whatever they've come on, whether they've come on DPD, Hermes, Royal Mail, whatever, I would say about 50% arrive damaged. Sometimes it's the fault of the people packaging them, because they don't package them very well, and sometimes it's just the couriers that are just hopeless. So yeah, if I were you, I would try and go and collect it. You will probably save yourself money in the long run. Christopher says he's got to restore the handset on the phone yet. Yeah, the handset of it is still looking a bit yellowy on there, isn't it, Christopher? But it's a good contrast actually. It shows, was the rest of it as yellow as that? Because that's a really good contrast, sort of before and after of the yellowing. If the rest of it was that yellow. Right, where are we in this? Dominic says, suppose it's a problem with the virus. It's difficult to collect at the moment. I've not had any problem collecting. I have collected stuff from all over the place. Yeah. I mean, people have been quite good about it. If they're that worried about the virus, you just ring them up when you arrive and say, look, I'm going to collect it, but what I'll do, I'll ring you when I arrive, just then stick it on your garden path, retreat into your house, I'll leave you an envelope full of money under a brick or something, or you can pay by PayPal in advance if you want, or pay by PayPal when you're there, do a transfer off your phone when you're there, use the PayPal app. And then just pick the thing up what you've bought off the garden path. You don't actually have to interact with the people or get near to the people at all. So yeah, so I've collected loads of stuff while all this coronavirus thing's been going on. We can do everything else in the world, so why can't we go and collect eBay stuff? We can go to a shop, we can go to a pub, we can even go to a pub in Liverpool, which is supposedly locked down if we eat a blooming meal with it. So, because it's a well-known fact that coronavirus, of course, you can't catch it while you're eating. Don't even get me started on that. Right. Christopher says, I've got a grey GPO junction box from the UK for my 706. Excellent, Chris. So found out you can send GPO telephones to Australia. Yeah, you probably can send them to Australia. You probably get them back from Australia as well. I don't know how much it would cost though. I bet it's expensive. It certainly is to America. If you buy a phone from America, you pay like the equivalent in dollars of about £20 for the phone and about £40 for shipping. If you buy something from America. Would we be interested in seeing pictures of the bellset 26 in situ, says Dominic. Yes, we're always interested in photos. Get in touch with us, Dominic. If you don't know the come on, my brain's fried tonight. If you don't know the email, then go on the website. Get in touch with me via the contact us form. Then I will email you back. But I just don't give out the emails on here, because if I do, I get lots of spam. Actually, I get lots of spam anyway, but I'd get more spam if I gave out the email on here. Right, I have had an interesting arrival this week. Talking of the post and things, this came this week. The compact phone from the UK. What are they? 776s, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, this 776 compact came this week and arrived, and we've not tried it yet, of course. It's got no plug on the end of it. So I thought tonight, while we're here, and it is going to be a relatively short show tonight, because let's say half the time was taken up trying to connect to blooming YouTube. YouTube. Kill them slowly, make it hurt more. That's what I say about the YouTube. Right. Right. I need to put a plug on the end of this phone, but there's various other things that I need to do as well. So I have a plug here, a UK plug. Can you see that? Now you can buy these in the UK. You can buy them from B&Q in a little bag, but they're horrendously expensive from B&Q. I would say eBay is your friend. These you can safely get through the post on eBay. Not even the couriers can damage these in the post, it would seem. But you can get them. Christopher 2000 says, do you still want to do the telephone swap we spoke about 2 months ago? Yes, possibly, Chris. Yeah. What? Yeah, what? Email me. Right. I think I'm up to date with the chat, so we'll sort this out, shall we? If we possibly can. So, I'll unwrap the... I'll unwrap this phone. Shall we get a camera on it so we can see what's going on? There, how about that? Unwrap the cord off this. Like so. And then I've just got to consult my bit of paper that I've got here, and I've just got to remember how to do this, because it matters which way up you have the cords. Then I've got this handy little bit of paper, I don't know if you can see this, that shows you the colours. Now where there's yellow on some of those, at least on the left hand side one, as you're looking at it, where there's yellow there, it says yellow, green, blue and red. That yellow should be white. It's just because it's on a white piece of paper, and obviously white wouldn't come out. But they are the standard colours for the GPO. But sometimes you find a wire that's got these colours in. So if you're using one that's got black and yellow in, that's the way you do it. Okay? Right, so thing is, you've got to have white when you look at this little sockety thing with the terminals uppermost. You've got to have white on the left hand side and red on the right hand side. So remember, red on the right, and you have to remember that because these cables are flat, and obviously if you put this on the wrong way round, everything's going to be connected back to front and it won't work. So as you look at the top like that, you've got to have red on the right. Okay, I think that's right. Just let me double check. Yes, red on the right, yeah. Okie dokie. So we need to strip these cables and let me find my device for doing this. Right, here's my magic cable stripping device, and this is a brilliant thing. I don't know where I got this from. There are different versions of this that you can buy, but this is just one of them, and we'll get it in focus. And the idea is that in here, I don't know how to tilt it so you can see it. You always have this problem, I never know which way to do things. In here there's a blade and a stop, and what you can do is just put this the end of it through the blade up to the stop, yeah, then clamp down and pull, and it should pull off just enough of that it will fit into here. It just pulls off enough, and you can see the cable's laid out flat. I don't know if you can see that. If I can, yeah. So remember what I said about if it's that way around, red on the right, okay, so that then goes on there like that, okay. Well, I've just seen I've nicked the insulation on these, so I'm going to do this again. I'm going to cut the, I'm going to use another device and just totally cut the end off that. And do it again, because basically there's a bit still in there. Get the bit out that's hanging around in there, that's it. I clamped down it too hard and nicked that bit of cable on the inside. So there we go, there we have it. So we now have to just make sure those four things are all the same length. Just splay them out very, very slightly. Get it under the camera again. Right, can you see that? So just splay them out very, very slightly. So there's a little bit of space between each one, because up the end of here there's like 4 slots, well there's 6 slots actually in this one, and you've got to get these 4 conductors up the centre 4 of those 6, right? So we just spin them out a bit and then put that in there, and you'll feel it go in. And then you can look up the end of it and see if you've got it in the middle or not. Now I've done that the wrong way up. You see, I nearly did that the wrong way up. It's got to be that way. Where am I? There. That way. Red on the right, remember. So let's try that again. So, red on the right, for these. Right, and I think we've got that now in the middle. Now we have to crimp it. So we're using this magic tool again. It's got a slot here. Here. Can you see that? There. That. You plug in to it your socket, and it'll actually plug in like that, and then you crimp down on it as hard as you can. And you then have to look and see if it's crimped the little bits on the end. Now, can you see on there now, the one on this end hasn't crimped down. Now, there's nothing connected to that, but do you see how it's raised? That one on that end. There's nothing connected to it, but it'll get in the way. So put it in again, and just maybe jiggle it about a bit until they all crimp down. You want them all to crimp down. And this is where you might have a bit of a problem with that one. I'm just... Has it gone? Something clicked then? Nope. But all the others have. No, still not gone down the end one. So if this happens to you, resort to a pair of pliers and just push that one down. I mean, like I say, that end one's not connected to anything, but just give it a shove down, and now they're all now in a line. You see, I've now got them all down and in a line, and hopefully when I plug that in, that should work. Okay, so I'll get my phone back in focus again. Right, so there we are. Okay, right, so I should be able now to plug that in and get some life out of this phone. So this is where I have to disappear for a moment. Down here. Unplug the green phone that's on the deck down there. Plug this in. Is it alive? It is indeed. There is a sort of a dial tone on that. Don't know if you can hear that, or I don't know where your microphone is. It's on one of those. So that's good. But this phone has got a very slow dial, because if I now dial 9 to try and get an outside line on my PABX, look how slow that dial's returning. So that's no good at all. So we'll unplug a minute but we know the thing basically works, so that's good. That's a good start. Right, unlike YouTube, but that's a good start. Right, I'll just catch up on the chat. So the compact phone, did the GPO release a Silver Jubilee version in 1977? Yes, they did, Jimmy, but it's not one of these. Keith G says the GPO produced a Jubilee version in 1977. Right, I'll explain this to you because this is a bit complicated. The compact phone first came out in the early 1970s as a trial. Okay, it was a trial. It wasn't available everywhere. It was a limited trial. And in 1977, that trial had basically come to an end, and these phones had come back. They were not 776s. They had a long and complicated number that began with SA. It was SA something 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 something. I just can't remember the number just off the top of my head. But they were not 776s. Although they did look like a 776. But they were SA something 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 something. Now, if you get one of these with a bell box with it, because they have a separate bell box with the bells in, there's no bells in these phones. If you get one with a bell box, the bell box on the Jubilees was different to the bell box on the 776s. If you go to wire them up, you will find there's a different number of contacts and everything, and they're in slightly different places. So the bell boxes, although they look the same, the bell box for the SA something 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 and the bell box for a 776 are different. But the SA, whatever they were a trial, and they'd all come back by 1977. So the GPO had got all these phones that had been on this trial, been moderately successful. Finally had got a phone that could fit on a windowsill, because that was the idea of these, that they were the first phone that the GPO did that could fit on a windowsill. So they'd finally got this phone that would fit on a windowsill, and they were going to release it. But in the meantime, it was the Queen's Silver Jubilee. The GPO wanted to make something to commemorate the Queen's Silver Jubilee, because any of you out there who were around in the UK in 1977 will know that the Queen's Silver Jubilee was a big thing back then. Everybody did something commemorative for the Jubilee, and they wanted to release a Jubilee phone. Now, STC got wind of this and made some Jubilee trim phones, but they were never proceeded with. The GPO didn't adopt them. But STC did make some of these Jubilee trim phones, and they occasionally pop up with a royal crest on the handset and fetch ridiculous amounts of money. I don't know how many STC made, but I think it was quite a few, because they do pop up quite regularly for sale. But they weren't adopted by the GPO. What the GPO did instead was they took these original compact phones, these trial SA something something somethings, and they put new bodies on them. New, very dark blue, almost black bodies on them. And they were the Jubilee phones. And then after the Queen's Silver Jubilee, then they released the 776, like this one. And although the phone, I think, is pretty identical, except for the colour, obviously, the bell set that goes with it looks identical on the outside, but is different on the inside, and it's different how you wire it. So that's why you don't get any of these trial batch phones from the early 70s. You never see any of these trial phones from the early 70s, because they all went back into the GPO, into that famous factory in Wales, or I think they had another one somewhere else, and came out as Jubilees. And if you look under a Jubilee, it does say SA something on it. It does not say 776 underneath it. But the Jubilees also, they had a thing, something that is different on the Jubilees. They had, in the middle of the dial, instead of the normal opal with a dial label behind it, they had a special opal done with a crest on. So you couldn't put a dial label there. So the Jubilees have a oblong dial label fitted in here, and there's an extra plastic sort of frame that fits in here on the Jubilees for the dial label with the phone number on. So they're the same, but not the same. So the Jubilees are actually refurbished trial versions of these, which are the actual production versions. I hope that makes sense. So Keith G, you are quite right. The GPO did produce a Jubilee one in 1977, but it wasn't quite a 776. It was the forerunner of the 776, if you like. Right, just putting some of these tools back in the box. Right, so we now need to take this phone apart then, and sort out that slow dial. What we are going to do, yeah, is first thing, as we always do, is got to get this opal off. Now, I normally do this by going and getting a bit of sticky tape, but I was told that GPO engineers didn't used to do that. What they used to do was just tip it upside down and tap around it, and it fell off like that. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't, but it's worth a try. If you can't be bothered to go and find a bit of sellotape, do it that way, you can get it off that way. Right, take the finger wheel off. These cases on these phones are even worse than 746 and that for fit. You really do have to bend the cases to sort these out if you want to look inside them. And what you do basically is you have to kind of, well, there's a screw here, isn't there? So there's a screw here, right at the back edge, that should be retained there like that. Then the case is loose then, but you can't get it off. You can still pick the thing up and you can't get the case off, because this is the thing about the GPO, they never made a case you could take off easily off anything. Look, it's all loose, but the damn thing don't come off, because you have to then bend, you have to sort of push it forward a bit like that, lift it all forward, and then sort of force it over the finger stop, and then you can get it off. And then you've got all your terminals there, right? Now, I've already altered this. When this came, this strap that is between T1 and T2 here was between T2 and T3, okay? It was between T2 and T3. So I've altered this already. So what you need to do to make this phone work on the modern plug and socket system, you have to strap T1 and T2. Then blue of your line cord goes to T2, or it can go T1 if you want, because they're strapped together. Red of your line cord goes to T4. White of your line cord goes to T6, goes to T5 rather, which is down here on this one, because it only goes 1, 2, 3, 4, then start down here. So T5 is white, and green of your line code not used goes to T6. Okay, so blue to T2, red to T4, white to T5, green to T6. Okay, and strap T1 and T2 together. That's how you make it work with the modern UK plug and socket system. So if you find one that's in original condition, it will not be strapped quite like that, and you might have to move some of your line cord things around, but that is how you want it if you're doing it without a bell set. Okay, if you're doing it with a bell set, it may be different, but this is without a bell set, so we're doing it like this. Obviously no resistor involved in this because there's no bells involved, so we don't need a 3.3k resistor anywhere in this. Right, so we've had a look inside there. Everything is where it should be there, so we need to take the dial apart and have a look inside the dial there, and the dial is just running slow. So what I'll do, I will put a bit of my magic lubricant on this. Now, this is not WD-40, what I'm about to spray on here. People are going to say, that's WD-40, don't put WD-40 in it. This is not WD-40. This is a silicone base lubricant that I actually got out of the pound shop. Smells totally different WD-40. It's this. Oh, sorry, you can't see it, can you? It's this Aquanol, which is a multi-purpose spray. It does stuff similar to WD-40, but for some reason that I can't fathom, it doesn't dry out and collect dirt like WD-40 does. At least it doesn't seem to. Ideally, once you've got this phone going, because it's running very slow at the minute, or if you've got one that's totally seized up, put something like that on to get it going. But once you've got it going and it's working, clean all that off and then just lubricate it with light oil. So whatever spray you put on, because it might attract the dirt. If you use WD-40, it certainly will attract the dirt. It'll dry up and attract the dirt. So it's fine to spray WD-40 on if you want to get the thing going, to get it moving if it's totally seized up, but then get that WD-40 off again and then just lubricate it with very light oil, something like sewing machine oil, clock and watch oil. Personally, I use 3-in-1 oil because it's a lot cheaper, and it is just a light oil and it works brilliantly, and I've used it on phones for years and years and years and never had any problems with it. So we've given that a little spray there. I'm now going to put the finger wheel back on its own, just to see if by working it we can get this dial running a little bit faster. So we'll just stick this back on. Christopher says he uses bearing oil to oil rotary dials. Yep, that would do, Chris. Any light mineral oil, basically. And as you can see, it's already going better. Now what you can do to get them going, what will sometimes work, is instead of taking your finger out and letting it go back on its own, just give it a helping hand. Don't really ram it around, but just give it a bit of a helping hand to go back, just while the oil works in. And you can see it's a lot better already. Now the way to test it, it should do 10 pulses per second. The way I do it is get your finger in the 0. Well, it's 0 in the UK. In some other parts of the world they have 0 in a different place on the dial, but basically the thing on the dial that is the finger hole on the dial that is furthest away from the finger stop, so you have to go the furthest amount of distance to get to it. Dial round and then say to yourself 1001 as you let go, and the dial should come to rest as you finish speaking. So 1001, so that's not far off. 1001, 1001, 1001. It's a little bit slow. It's finishing. Well, when I'm saying 1001, it's finishing about there. In actual fact, 1001, 1001. But it's not bad. What you can do, if you want to speed it up a little bit more, is inside here you'll see this thing down here is the governor, and this end that is plastic on this, but sometimes these are brass. There's 2 weights on the end of 2 arms there. If you bend those arms inwards very slightly, you might have to somehow hold the governor, stop it rotating. Bend those arms in very, very slightly with a screwdriver or something. It only has to be very, very slightly. That will alter the governor speed and you will speed up the dial a bit. Similarly, if you've got a dial that's a bit fast, then bend them out a bit if your dial's a bit fast. So let's see if that's done anything, shall we? So I'll just stick that back on again a minute. And you may be able to hear Pippa the dog slurping her tea in the background, having a drink, having some food. 1001, 1001, 1001, 1001. Yeah, I think that's okay. So I think we will call that okay. Now this magic stuff that I've got, yeah, you can also, I've found, squirt a bit of this on the faces of these dials and then just rub with a paper tissue and it cleans them up very nicely. Got the dirt to come off that. So now it's all in one piece again. We'll put it all back together. Dominic says, what breed of dog is Pippa? She's a bit of a Heinz variety, Dominic. She's part Staffy and part something that's bigger than a Staffy, because she's bigger than a Staffy. I think probably part collie, part border collie, something like that. Because she's black and white, or rather white and black. She's more white than black. So put that on. Put this little spring clip on as well. Somebody's been in touch with me this last couple of weeks asking about these spring clips. Where can you get spare ones? And you know something? I don't know. It's so if anybody knows where there's any of these, if anybody got a stash of these spring clips knocking around, get in touch, because somebody's been in touch who wants them. Right, we can now put the dial back on, put the finger wheel back on, put the screw back in the middle, making sure you've got the right sort of screw for the sort of finger wheel you've got. So if the centre of your finger wheel is a recessed flat area, make sure the back of your screw is flat, i.e. not a countersunk screw. If the centre of your finger wheel has got a countersink in it, make sure it is a countersunk screw. Get the wrong type of finger wheel and the wrong type of screw, and that's how you crack the finger wheels. So that's a bit loose still, that's better. Right, let's see what it does now. 1001. That's better. I believe that now will probably ring if we plug it back in again. Shall we give it a go? So I'll, well, not ring of course, but I believe we'll be able to get a cord through it. So get my cord again, plug it in. Right, it's off hook, remember, at the moment. So it's on hook now. So if I now use this phone and I call it, and it's on, I believe it's 22, I think. Right, so I'll release my fingers off this now. It's ringing, although it's not ringing of course, there's no bell. So if I release that, it stopped ringing. Right, maybe it's not 22. Which socket have I got it plugged into? Right, let's try again. That's the one. So now what you do, now my call has connected, what you do now is blow down this handset and listen on this one, see if you can hear yourself. And I can, and do it the other way around. And yeah, and I can hear myself both ways, so that is working. And just to prove it's working, if we hang that up now and I try and dial this black phone on my desk, which is extension 21. Right, I've got a dial tone on it now, so I'll dial away. And the other phone on my desk here rings. Hello, 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 hello. Yep, I can hear myself on it. So this is now working. Marvellous. So what we'll do now is we'll put the case back together. Now this is broken already, and I'm not terribly surprised it's broken. You see this little clip here that should go in the front of the base. There should be one there as well, and that's broken off, and that's because these things are just so difficult to fit, because they go in these little recesses here, and they're really difficult to do. I'm going to unplug it again a minute while I do this. So what we've got to do is take the finger wheel off again, because you'll never get it on with the finger wheel on. You'll never do it in a month of Sundays with the finger wheel on. We take this off. Here comes Pippa. Hello Pippa, good girl. She's coming to have a look. If you want to, oh no, she's going again. She don't want to be on camera apparently. She's going again. Right, so now we'll try and put this back together. Now you've basically got to put it on sort of fairly straightish. And there is no easy way to do this. It sort of gets on that far, and then you've got to bend that front bit out. You really have. And then it's not in the right place at the back, and you can't put it on at the front first, because then it doesn't go over the switch hooks. And then there really is no easy way to do it. You have got to sort of be a bit brutal with it and do that. And then it's in at the front then, you see. It's not lifting at the front now. It's lifting at the back, but that'll stop when I put that screw in. Luckily one of those catches at the front is still good. So it's just working on that one. So now screw it down like so, and then I can put my finger wheel on yet again. Make sure you get it the right way around, of course, because you can get them the wrong way around like that, but obviously it's patently obvious then that you've got it wrong. So other way around. Screw back in. And then you put your dial label in. I've not got one done for this yet, so I'm just going to put the opal back on like so, and there we have it. So I can now plug it in again, and I can dial my little phone, and there you go, it's ringing again. So there you have it. That is how you restore and fix up one of these compact telephones. So I hope you've learnt a bit of something there for the compact phones. I'm just going to plug in what should be plugged in again, otherwise I'll forget. That's it. So that is the compact telephone. And by the way, this is the rarest colour apparently. Blue is the rarest colour. They also did them in a sort of what they call stone, which is a sort of very pale grey, sort of almost an ivory colour. And they also did them in a sort of mid-brown colour, very unusual mid-brown colour. Dominic says the email on the call press form should be a Gmail one. Yeah, it is. It is. When you send me something via the website, when you go to the website, which is andyshed.callpress.net, when you click on the contact us thing, there's a contact form that you can fill in, and when you send me a message on that contact form, it actually sends it to me to a Gmail email address, and then I can reply to you, and then it goes from the Gmail email address to your email, and then your email will show the Gmail email address. Okay? Because I can't, if I gave it out on here, I'd get all kinds of spam. It's unbelievable. Even the contact form generates a certain amount of spam. I'm just doing a bit of cable wrangling. Right, that is about a wrap for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry we're a bit late on initially, and surprisingly the stream has stayed up after those initial problems, but we are going to look at altering it. Now, whether I will alter it by next week or not, I don't know. So I may still be on YouTube next week if I've not got around to altering it. But I am going to try looking at Twitch and various other streaming services So if next week you can't find us, go to the website and we'll post something on the website to tell you where we are. Okay? If you can't find us next week at 6 o'clock, go to the website and we'll post something up there to let you know where we are. Okie dokie. I hope that makes sense. Has anybody got any questions or anything before I zip off? It's half past 7. Pippa's looking at me. She wants a pizza. All is silent on the Western Front. Have I missed anything while I've been doing all that? I try to read the chat on my phone as I'm going. You see, I do the stream through the computer and then have a separate thing open on my phone for the chat. Dominic says he personally doesn't like the look of the 776s, but they do have an interesting history. Yeah, it's got a face that only its mother could love, hasn't it? The 776. It is true. It is a strange looking phone, but it was done purely to fit on a windowsill. That's why they did it, because all the other phones don't quite fit on a sort of average windowsill, and it's always been a problem. And everybody used to try and put the phone on the windowsill, particularly when they used to have the line coming through the corner of the window frame. It was logical to put your phone on the windowsill where it didn't fit very well, wasn't it? So that's what they were designed for. I never saw one of these in service anywhere. I've only seen them in recent years. I never knew of anybody who had one in service. Christopher says, do you know how old the GPO 64D bellset is? No, but not that old. I don't know, but not that old. I am guessing it probably dates to the 60s. I would guess. I don't know for certain, because in the 30s, sort of generation before, the numbers were in the 20 something for the bell sets, 25s and 26s and things like that. And there's not much that changes in a bell set. A bell set is a bell set is a bell set. The technology doesn't change much that's inside them as to whether they're bells or bell sets. The difference is if it's just a bell, it has literally just got the bell coils in it and the gongs. If it's a bell set, it has some of the telephone bits inside it as well, like possibly the induction coil might be in a bell set sometimes, or capacitors and things like that. Right, that is about a wrap then for today, folks. Thanks very much to everybody for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the video last week as well. If you haven't watched it yet, last week we uploaded a video about the Chesterfield Canal with me walking down the first bit of the Chesterfield Canal between Chesterfield and Tapton Lock, and we found an interesting metal plate in the path as well. We'll be telling you more about that on a future Andy Shed Live. So if you've not seen the thing about Chesterfield Canal, go and have a look at it. Right, it is time for me to go. It's time for me to have my Sunday night pizza. I hope you're going to have a great week ahead. We'll be back live and dangerous next Sunday evening somewhere. Possibly on YouTube, possibly not. Who knows? It all depends how much I get done this week. But for me, for now, have a great week ahead. Just before I go, Christopher says, the 64D bell set has the same bell like a 746. Yeah, because it's on the same base as a 746, I think. I'll root one out. And we'll get it on over the next couple of weeks. Dominic says, I know a lot of people don't like the two-tone grey phones. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, and I've got a ton of cases for two-tone grey phones here as well. If anybody needs a grey phone case, I'm your man. Get in touch. Right, that really is as far as we go for this week. Thanks very much for watching. As always, if you're watching after the fact, whatever platform, whether it's YouTube, library or whatever, leave us a comment, give us a like, and also give us a subscribe if you've not done so already. And remember, if you're on YouTube, try library, lbry.com. Download the library app and be a part of the platform. It works in a slightly different way to YouTube, and it's very clever, and you can earn money just for watching videos. lbry.com. Go there, download the app, and you can help distribute the content. Okay, from all of us here for now, Pippa and myself, see you next week. Bye for now.